My name is Alice. I'm a 19-year-old new employee. As you can guess from my age, I didn't go to college after graduating high school and instead got hired to work as an office staff member in a regular company. Honestly, it's not a very big company, but I think I'm very lucky just to be hired there. That's because I'm not good with people. I'm not very smart. I have no knack for anything. I have no experience working part-time, and I'm just a high school graduate who can't do anything. I was fortunate enough to be hired as a full-time employee, so I'm trying my very best not to get fired. Or so I intend to. I emphasize intend to because, contrary to my wishes, I'm not delivering any results.
Hey, anyone got a free hand? There's some material I need made.
One day, just before lunch, my department manager said something like that. Everyone around was silent, and it seemed like no one was available. Seeing that, I mustered up the courage to raise my hand. I can, but the department manager glanced at me and said,
Alice is fine. Just do your own work properly.
and just like that, he forcibly handed the task over to Julia, the seasoned female employee sitting next to me, saying,
I'm counting on you, Julia. It's simple, so you can do it.
Before Julia could refuse, the department manager quickly left. I was rejected again. I thought that, feeling quietly hurt deep inside. But this is how it always is. I'm always bad at my job, and no matter how carefully and seriously I try to revise my work, I always make a mistake. Since assigning me work only adds to others' workload, nobody trusts me with anything. I know it's all my fault, and I feel really sorry. Then, from next to me, I hear a loud,
Sis,
I knew all too well that it was directed at me.
you've increased my workload again. What are you here for? You're more than useless. You're a hindrance.
I'm sorry. In particular, my immediate supervisor, Julia, often gets my share of work, and I'm always berated like this. I'm hurt every time, but I can't complain since it's my fault that she's burdened. I can't do my job, so all I can do is endure. And without getting discouraged, I continue to strive so that someday I can do my job on my own and maybe be acknowledged for it. I keep telling myself that, working hard on what's in front of me. That was all I could do.
Apologizing doesn't decrease the workload. You're a bit of an eyesore.
I'm sorry. Because of all this, I really hate myself. This isn't something that just started. It's been that way since I was a child. I don't think I've ever liked myself at any point in my life. The home I was born into, my father was an alcoholic and my mother worked at a night bar. We never had the experience of enjoying dinner as a family or going out all three together. Rather, warm conversations were completely absent in the household. No matter how ragged and dirty it was, I thought it was better as long as I could shelter from the rain and wind and get fit every day. But I grew up without receiving anything called love. I, who couldn't even communicate with my family, had no chance of getting by in school, couldn't make any friends, and was even told I was creepy for not talking. I was bullied in junior high and high school, and I never had any hope for the future. Still, I managed to go to high school and graduate, and I didn't think about going to college because I wasn't smart and didn't have any money. My father told me, once you're out of high school, get to work and bring money home. So finding a job after high school was the only path for me. But then again, I had no path I wanted to carve out for myself, so there wasn't any resistance or anything like that. Even as an adult, I still couldn't make friends, and despite trying hard in my own way, I only became more disliked at work. And I had no one to confide in about those worries and struggles. Every day feels like hell, but I don't know how to escape it, and I don't even have the power to do so. It feels like I'm stuck alone in the middle of a never-ending tunnel. But then, one day,
You really are slow, aren't you? You can't even make one coffee. I don't know how you get paid for this.
I had been assigned to prepare coffee and snacks for an important client, CEO of Raphael Company. But Julia came to get it, seeing that I was taking too long. I'm sorry.
Never mind, give it here.
With those words, Julia snatched the tray with the coffee from me. As she was about to place it in front of CEO Raphael in the conference room,
What's this?
Julia raised her voice in surprise and turned to me, furious.
You're planning on having Mr. Raphael drink this lukewarm coffee?
Julia must have realized it was lukewarm when she picked up the cup.
Thank you. May I have that coffee?
Before I could speak, it was CEO Raphael who said this.
No, mister. I can't have you drink this. I'll make a fresh one right away.
To Julia's words, CEO Raphael responded,
No, that's fine. I have a sensitive tongue, you know. I don't like it hot. Maybe she remembered me saying that last time I was here.
That was exactly it. Sure, here's the translation. I'm just a lowly worker and never talked to them directly, but I remembered overhearing that they had a sensitive tongue when they last came. Julia heard that and said,
No way, Mr. Raphael. This person doesn't have the capability to do something so thoughtful. They must have just messed up.
and laughed it off, then went back to the meeting. I wondered if I'd overstepped, but I was genuinely happy when CEO Raphael said,
Thank you.
Had anyone ever thanked me like that before? After the meeting, I received shocking news. Me, accompany Mr. Raphael as a host?
That's right. Even though I told Mr. Raphael that you're no good and won't make a difference, he insisted you come to dinner next Friday. I'll take you, but don't get in the way.
Everyone, including me, knew that I'm not good at communicating and not suited for hosting. That's why I had never done it before, even with my boss. But I was really happy that CEO Raphael said that, although I honestly couldn't believe it myself and was anxious that I might mess something up. So I bought books on business manners at the bookstore, simulated scenarios in my mind, and did everything I could to prepare. Finally, the day before the hosting, Julia came to me in a panic, saying,
Oh no. I just heard from the department head that Mr. Raphael doesn't like fish. The menu we reserved was a fish course, right?
I had already made the reservation for the restaurant for the hosting a few days earlier, after consulting with Raphael. What? Really? What should we do? While I was bewildered by the unexpected situation,
I'm busy right now. Can you call the restaurant and see if they can change Mr. Raphael's meal to meat?
Julia instructed me, so I quickly called the restaurant. They said they could change one serving to meat, so I was able to make the change without any problems. I was relieved that it worked out, and then the next day, the hosting began, but something unexpected happened.
Am I the only one getting something different on the menu?
Seeing the grilled fish brought out just for CEO Raphael, he said that. Then Julia signaled me, and I said, I heard Mr. Raphael doesn't like fish, so I prepared a meat dish for you. But the CEO, Raphael, made a slightly troubled face and said,
That's a shame. I'm quite fond of fish.
and became very confused. I think Julia mentioned hearing it from the department head. Could the department head have been mistaken? When I was about to apologize right away,
I'm truly sorry about my subordinate. This kid really can't do the job. Bringing them to you, Mr. Raphael, really weighed on my conscience.
Julia said, and I was so surprised I couldn't speak. It's true that I'm not great at my job, but this should have been on Julia's instruction.
No, it's fine. Even if it's a misunderstanding, you considered my feelings. I appreciate that.
CEO Raphael said without getting angry, and I felt relieved. But I began to feel a bit uncomfortable about Julia's words and actions. Could it be she made me mess up on purpose? Such thoughts crossed my mind and vanished, leaving me puzzled, because I thought I shouldn't doubt someone without evidence. But that doubt gradually turned into certainty.
It was truly a blessing that Mr. Raphael was so understanding, wasn't it?
Julia said, to which,
No, Alice was it. You're someone who can act for others. Even if it's a misunderstanding, I think you can warm many people's hearts.
CEO Raphael looked straight into my eyes and said, Thank you very much. No one had ever said that to me in my entire life. Not used to being praised, I didn't know how to react and became quite awkward. Still, CEO Raphael cheerfully continued our conversation.
Come on, Mr. Raphael is just being polite and flattering you. Don't take it too seriously.
When she said that, I came to my senses. Of course, there's no reason for me to be praised. I felt really embarrassed for almost getting ahead of myself. Then Julia went on to explain to CEO Raphael, in detail and with specific examples, how bad I was at my job and how clumsy I was. It was very painful to have my failures and shortcomings discussed right in front of me, but that was the real me, and I couldn't complain, so I just listened. What CEO Raphael had said earlier was just to spare my feelings, and even if he truly meant it, things like doing things for others don't matter in getting the job done, and it doesn't change the fact that I'm no good. And the final blow was when this happened.
Mr. Raphael may have said it's okay, but this child doesn't even understand etiquette and is so ignorant that they sit in the same place as those above them.
Julia looked down on me with a smile and said that. I couldn't help but feel a sense of discomfort at these words. Sure enough, I was seated in the seat of honor because Julia had assigned me that spot when I was likely to arrive at the restaurant first. After that, CEO Raphael came and sat across from me in the lower seat, and Julia, who was late for work, sat next to me. Certainly, I'm not very bright and am ignorant, but I had studied this type of etiquette in a book, so I knew about these manners. So, I found Julia's instructions strange, but I trusted CEO Raphael's words that he preferred the entrance side because it was more convenient, and that's why I sat there. CEO Raphael heard that and laughed
Ho ha!
without getting angry, but I was at a loss for how to react, as I realized my mistake and that I had been deceived by Julia. And then, I'm very sorry. I was at my wit's end, holding back tears that seemed to flow involuntarily, and all I could do was apologize. After all, I thought, making excuses would only further discomfort CEO Raphael. The next one to speak was not CEO Raphael but Julia.
Alice, if you don't understand such simple manners, you should just go home. You're just a nuisance.
When she said that, I thought she was right. Indeed, I was deceived by Julia. But it's true that I am ignorant and can't do my job well, and I don't think I was able to do anything for CEO Raphael in this reception. If I continue to fail, even kind CEO Raphael might become annoyed, and that might cause trouble for the company. I wanted to do my best till the end, but I wondered if I had no choice but to go home. As I thought that, CEO Raphael went,
Ha ha ha!
and I was surprised, and Julia, who looked up, said,
I've never seen such an incompetent employee before. It makes you laugh, doesn't it?
and laughed along. But then,
You seem to be misunderstanding something. I don't think she's incompetent, and I'm not laughing at her. You've been speaking your mind since earlier, but it might be better if you were the one to leave.
CEO Raphael said that to Julia. Both Julia and I were surprised at this. Julia raised her voice and asked.
What do you mean by that?
CEO Raphael responded.
Alice hasn't made a single mistake here that would require her to leave. Whether the mistakes in the food or the seating arrangements were truly her fault, I don't know, but even if they were, no one has been hurt or put out by it. I couldn't care less about such things, and I believe what's important for people is not manners, but a compassionate heart. Alice might indeed be inexperienced in some aspects of her work, but she's a wonderful person who has the important qualities of human compassion. Rather, a boss who seems to enjoy bad-mouthing a subordinate right in front of her is far more disruptive to people's feelings. Probably both Alice and I, and everyone present, have felt uncomfortable with your talk. There's good food here, and I don't think there's a need for anyone to leave. But if one person absolutely has to, it will be you. No question about it, Julia.
Hearing CEO Raphael's words, I couldn't hold back the tears that I had been suppressing. The tears that welled up in my eyes were sad and bitter, but the ones that flowed felt warm and gentle. I had met someone who acknowledged me in such a way for the first time. Julia looked very frustrated, but perhaps due to her professional strength, she remained seated and finished the reception. After that, Julia's behavior towards me was not as harsh, and about a year later, I was invited to join CEO Raphael's company. CEO Raphael's company is full of truly warm people, and they gladly accepted someone like me. Now, after 5 years of working there, I have built relationships that feel even more like family than my own family. I'm still a slow learner, but I am definitely improving, and there are many people in my current company who recognize that. Even if I can do less than others, there's nothing I can't do if I keep trying and never give up. Meeting CEO Raphael taught me that